Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast. If you haven't done so yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to tap that bell icon to be notified every time a new video is released. Thanks!
Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, I have lots of news that came out of the D23 Expo Japan, including news about the new Star Wars hotel, Marvel taking over the Rock and Roller Coaster, info about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Okay, before I jump into the news, I want to let you all know about a game that I play every single day on Instagram Live called the Daily Disney Decision. If you don't follow Disney Coast to Coast on Instagram, you should, so that you can be part of this game every single day. It's a really fun game that I host, and you guys, all the viewers, give your opinions and share your thoughts about it. So come join us. If you're not sure what it's about, go to DisneyCoastToCoast.com, click on the DDD tab. It'll tell you all about the show as well as how to get the notifications on your phone so that you can join live every single day and play the Daily Disney Decision. But let's get into the news. First of all, the news that all Disney fans dread is the ticket price increase. It's that time of year. It's not really unexpected, but the jumps were pretty high this time around, I gotta say. For Disneyland, and I'm not gonna go through all the different prices here, you can look them up if you want, but just to give you an idea, Disneyland, the price is raised from 9 to 18% depending on the annual pass you have and the different types of tickets that are offered. But for the top tier, the Signature Plus Pass, which is that one that has 0 blackout dates, also gives you the Max Pass and free parking, that went from $1,049 to $1,149. So that was a $100 jump. An even bigger jump is the one right below that, the Signature Pass, that basically blocks out the 2 weeks of Christmas, as well as no Max Pass. That went from $849 to $999, so that was a $150 jump. Pretty huge jump there. The one-day park hopper is actually dropping a little bit on the value days. They're dropping it by $10, so it's $147 now. So what this kind of means to me anyways, it sounds like they don't want you to spend the whole day at Disneyland. They're trying to make a better deal for you to get a park hopper and hop on over to Disney California Adventure. And this isn't the end of it for the year. They are saying that there will be more changes to the annual pass holder program this year at Disneyland Resort, because it's getting ready for Star Wars, folks. That's just the way of it. And I gotta say, with this one, I am wondering if this is the breaking point. It does feel like, you know, Disneyland ticket prices and what guests are willing to pay has kind of been playing this game of chicken over the last couple of years to see, you know, who breaks first. Are people going to stop buying those annual passes, or will the price keep rising, or will they have to lower it a little bit to get the crowds back? I don't know. I do feel like this year, this step, if not the next, is that game of chicken that people are trying to figure out, because the park is more and more crowded. So raising the prices does hopefully prevent that a little bit. But I don't know. It's very interesting. It wasn't just the Disneyland Resort, though. Walt Disney World also raised their annual pass holder prices from about 5 to 9%. So the Walt Disney World Florida Platinum Pass, Platinum Plus Pass rather, it went from $779 to $849. Pretty good jump there. And the Walt Disney World Platinum Pass is $869 to $949. So, prices rising all around. How much are you willing to pay for magic? That's the big question, folks. But the rising prices aren't just stopping with annual passes and tickets. Also, the Minnie Van experience over at Walt Disney World, if you're not familiar with it, it's essentially Lyft, but officially run by Disney, and really cute vehicles that look, you know, have the Minnie Mouse polka dots all over it. The standard ride is going from $20 to $25. So it sounds like it's been a successful program so far. It hasn't been around super long. It has expanded. Now you can get it at Yacht and Beach Club, Boardwalk, Wilderness, and Animal Kingdom Lodges, Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Contemporary, Old Key West, Saratoga Springs, Caribbean Beach, and Pop Century Resorts. So, the fact that the price is rising means it must be in some pretty high demand. This surprises me, I gotta be honest, just because of the amount of free transportation that there is at the Walt Disney World Resort. Apparently people don't want to wait around for those buses and monorails and boats anymore. So you can get yourself a minivan, and this is run through the Lyft app, but you have to have it activated by a Disney cast member. So that's kind of interesting. I'm surprised to hear it's doing as well as it is. We also got some news about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. This is the attraction that is taking over the former space of the Great Movie Ride inside the Chinese Theater. I am looking very forward to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, but I gotta be honest, I'm still not over the loss of the Great Movie Ride. That was one of my absolute favorites, and I don't think I'll ever get over it, to be completely honest, but I'm excited to see this new 2.5D technology that they talk about. I'm curious as to what that means. So we have an opening date. It is opening in 2019. They didn't give a specific month or anything, but this is pretty interesting. My guess is it's going to be early 2019 since Galaxy's Edge is also opening at Disney's Hollywood Studios in 2019. I'm guessing Galaxy's Edge is going to be later 2019 and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway will be earlier in the year because I don't think that they'll open them both too close together. At least that's my guess. Speaking of Star Wars, we have some new news about the Star Wars Hotel. All of this news has been coming out of that D23 Expo in Japan recently, but it has been officially announced that the Star Wars Hotel will be seamlessly connected to Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios. I think this is what all Disney fans and Star Wars fans alike were hoping for. I think that this is pretty exciting. This is going to be like a nice seamless transition. Of course, the Star Wars Hotel is going to be for like real diehard cosplayers and Star Wars fans, and it's certainly not going to be cheap. This is the all-inclusive experience where you take on a whole role, so it's kind of cool. My question is, will you be able to see the hotel from Galaxy's Edge, and if so, how's that going to work into it? Because from what I understand, in the hotel, you're actually supposed to be in space. When you look out the windows, it'll be, you know, space out there, not whatever's actually outdoors. So I'm kind of curious whether or not it will be seen from Galaxy's Edge. That's one thing I'm curious about. But this is the space where they say guests immediately become active citizens of the galaxy and can dress up in the proper attire. I'm curious if that proper attire is included in your stay or not, whether it's something you're renting or something you have to buy. Still a lot of questions about the Star Wars Hotel, but still pretty exciting, I think. Speaking of Disney's Hollywood Studios, though, the name change that is constantly in the rumor mill these days, Disney has actually come out with an official statement about this, which I find really interesting because most of the time I feel like Disney just kind of ignores what's going on in the rumor mill, and sometimes it comes to fruition, sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like lately they've actually been reacting to it in a way with official statements, which they didn't really do so much in the past. So I find this kind of interesting. But in any case, in response to all those rumors going around about Cinemagine Park being the new name of Disney's Hollywood Studios, which we discussed on this show a couple weeks ago, the official statement from Disney is, quote, "In response to questions we have been receiving, we also want to let fans know that Disney's Hollywood Studios name will remain the same for the foreseeable future, since we are immersing our guests in a place where imagined worlds of Hollywood unfold around them, from movies and music to television and theater," end quote. I find this interesting. Foreseeable future. I don't really know what that means. Like, I don't think anybody really knows what that means. I do think the name's still going to change. I don't think this was like we've decided not to change the name anymore. I think they really do want to get the whole studios part off of the name. But I don't know. We'll see. Frankly, I'd be okay with them leaving the name Disney's Hollywood Studios. I think it's not a studio anymore. Absolutely not. But I don't know, Universal Studios theme park is not a studio either, right? At least not in Florida, it's not anymore. So I don't know. Disney's Hollywood Studios doesn't bother me. I'd rather that than Disney Cinemagine Park personally. Now, we also have a lot of Pixar stuff coming to a bunch of the parks. Staying at Disney's Hollywood Studios for a second, we got an official opening date for Toy Story Land. It's going to be June 30th. This is the first new land that's going to be opening there as part of this giant expansion. We've got the Toy Story Land, followed by Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, followed by Galaxy's Edge, and then who knows what beyond that. But June 30th is the beginning of it, folks. I hope it's brilliant because I believe they knocked down Honey, I Shrunk the Kids for this. Actually, no, that was probably more for Galaxy's Edge. But regardless, they knocked down a lot of park for all of these expansions. So I hope that what we get is fantastic. Speaking of Pixar, though, Disneyland's Pixar Fest is happening on April 13th. It begins, and we got an official opening date for Pixar Pier, which will be June 23rd. Now, as part of Pixar Fest, Paint the Night is coming back to the resort. I'm very excited about this. Now it's moving over to Disney California Adventure, and there's going to be a new Incredibles float as part of the Paint the Night parade. But the interesting thing is, what I've read is, this new float isn't coming until June. So although Paint the Night will begin performances in April 13th, the new Incredibles float that they showed some artwork for actually isn't going to be in there until June. So I'm not sure if this means it's just an addition or if it's replacing something. There's still a little bit of information missing there, but I do find that interesting. It will not officially open until it sounds pretty much when Pixar Pier opens. So that's kind of interesting. Also, as part of the Pixar-Pier expansion that will be happening, the Midway games are going to change. They're going to theme to more Pixar stuff. Now, there is going to be a Bugs Life themed Midway game. So what does this mean for a Bugs Land? I don't know. We've heard in the rumor mill for a long time that a Bugs Land might be in trouble. It might be getting knocked down to become part of Marvel. Me personally, I'd be okay with that. I would really hope that they keep It's Tough to Be a Bug somehow, just because I really like that attraction. But I would understand if it gets demolished along with the rest of Bugs Land. But I don't know. I think it's interesting that they're working a Bugs Life into Pixar Pier, considering it already has so much representation currently in Disney California Adventure. So I think maybe that might actually mean that Bugs Land may be going away in the near future. Also, for the Midway games, we're getting a WALL-E-themed one and a La Luna one. So this is kind of cool. La Luna is based on a short that Pixar did. And it's funny because a month or so ago, we did a mini-sode of Disney Coast to Coast all about ideas for a Pixar Pier expansion, and one of my ideas was based on a Pixar short, but I was like, oh, they wouldn't actually do that, though. But so it's kind of cool they are going to do it. So we're going to get La Luna in the park, as well as some more Pixar shorts actually going on over at the Sunset Showcase Theater as part of Pixar Fest. Now, as you probably know already, there is a Pixar Shorts film festival that happens year-round at Epcot, right next to the Imagination Pavilion, or part of it perhaps, which was not really well received, I feel like, at Epcot. I feel like this makes a little bit more sense. It's going to the Sunset Showcase Theater, so it's not taking out any attraction. That's a space where they show previews now, previously held Muppet Vision 3D, but that's been long gone at this point. And I'm hoping, I'm sure it's going to be temporary just for Pixar Fest, so I think it fits a bit more here at Disney California Adventure than it does at Epcot. Also, some more Pixar news. Shanghai Toy Story Land opening April 26th. We got an official opening date for that one as well. So 2 Toy Story Lands opening this year, April 26th in Shanghai and June 30th at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Fans of the character Rey from Star Wars will be very excited to learn that at Disneyland, you're going to be able to meet her at Star Wars Launch Bay beginning this May. So even more Star Wars expansioning happening at Tomorrowland at Disneyland. Now, a real interesting piece of news that came out of this recent expo is the Marvel roller coaster heading to the Walt Disney Studios Park at Disneyland Paris Resort. They're taking their rock and roller coaster and transforming it into a Marvel-themed attraction, which is just even more of that whole let's get rid of the stuff that Disney doesn't own, aka Aerosmith, and make it something that we do own, Marvel. And of course, Marvel expansions in the parks is something that they're really trying to push these days. So now you'll be able to do a rock and roller coaster type attraction where you team up with Iron Man and the Avengers. The big question with this is this going to happen to Florida as well? I don't know. I don't know if they'd want to do that, number one, in that park, and number two, legally. I still don't understand the legalities of using certain Marvel characters and not using others in Universal versus Disney parks. So I don't know if they could do this in Florida, but it is interesting that the Aerosmith contract maybe is ending soon. I'm still pushing for that, the Goofy movie layover of Rock and Roller Coaster. That would make my day. I just want a Powerline roller coaster. Let's make that happen. And there's even more Marvel news happening over at the Disneyland Paris Resort because the Hotel New York at Disneyland Paris is being transformed, as they previously announced, into Disney's Hotel New York, The Art of Marvel. This is opening in 2020, and they did give us a first look at these rooms. It basically looks like a room with some Marvel pictures hanging around it and, some color choices that fit in the comic book world and stuff like that. Nothing too great, but this is the hotel I stayed at when I went to Disneyland Paris. I stayed at Hotel New York, and it'll be interesting to see this layover once it's finished, which is, as I said, coming in 2020. Now in some movie news, Incredibles 2 has released a trailer. It debuted during the Olympics, which are on television currently. Of course, the movie's coming out June 15th, and this was a good look for the general public of this film. More action in it, less of a teaser. I feel like what we've gotten up until now is a lot of teaser stuff. I gotta be honest, folks, I need to rewatch the original film before I go see this on June 15th because I have so little memory of The Incredibles. I know so many people love The Incredibles and are excited about the sequel. Disney and Pixar seems to be pushing this very, very hard. I feel like there's ads for it everywhere. So hopefully we're gonna get a great second Incredibles film. Of course, this weekend is a big weekend for Disney movie release because Black Panther was released. No surprise here, breaking records, doing really, really well at the box office. So for you Marvel fans out there, I hope you're enjoying Black Panther. I've heard nothing but great things about it. Also in movie news, we learned that the Lion King live-action film will be getting a new song. Yes, that's right. Elton John, Tim Rice, and Beyoncé will be teaming up to write a new song for the end credits of the Lion King live-action movie, which is due out in theaters July 19th, 2019. So that's still a while away. But I find this interesting because in general, I feel like when new songs are written for a musical, for a film version of it, which happens almost every time, I would say, it's usually done so that it has a chance of being nominated for an Academy Award or Golden Globe or whatever, the big movie awards. Because the rule is if it was previously written for the piece, it's not eligible to be nominated. So the way that they often work around this is they'll write a new song for the film so that they're eligible for nomination. Sadly, this year, it didn't happen with Beauty and the Beast. I really feel like Evermore, the new song from the live-action Beauty and the Beast, should have been nominated, but it didn't get nominated. And that's an actual song written for the piece in the film. This is a little different. This is an end credit song. And I'm not 100% sure about this, but I'm pretty sure that makes it uneligible. Years ago, it wouldn't matter. You could write it for the end credits as long as it was in the film and it was a new song. It was eligible to be nominated. And then those rules changed somewhere around like I want to say Dreamgirls days. I don't know if it affected that film or if it was after that one that it happened. But I feel like there was a change in the Oscar rules that said the new song has to be part of the film. It can't just be written to go over the credits. So I don't know if this new song will be eligible or not, but regardless, it's being written by Elton John, Tim Rice, and Beyoncé, so hopefully it'll be a hit there. I am excited for this live-action movie more than a lot of the ones that are coming out. They showed at the D23 Expo the Circle of Life opening. It was breathtaking, gave you chills. I still don't understand why it's called a live-action movie when it's all CG animation, but that aside, I'm excited for this movie. Some more music news. As we previously announced, Muppet Babies is returning. That's right, they're being relaunched on Disney Junior this March, and we did get to hear a little bit of the theme song. It's being sung by Renee Elise Goldsberry, who is famous for playing the role of Angelica in the original Broadway cast of Hamilton. She's also played Nala in The Lion King, the musical, so that's kind of cool. Some little Disney tie-in there. But they released a sneak peek vid of this, and we got to hear some new lyrics. We got to see a new character. It is the same song that we're used to, or the same melody rather, that we're used to knowing from the Muppet Babies, which is such a great theme song. I'm glad that they kept that around. But you know, it's been updated a little bit. New voice, new lyrics. Should be a lot of fun. I'm excited. It's a great little sneak peek. Check it out if you can online. And some more music. Frozen the Musical released a cool sneak peek of their Sits Probe. If you don't know what a Sits Probe is, this is the first time that the cast gets together with the orchestra of a show and sings it and plays it all together. Because in rehearsal studios, most of the time, it's the cast and a piano, and that's what you're working with for months at a time. So that first time that they all get together with an orchestra, oh my goodness, it's a pretty cool moment, and Disney Theatrical released a pretty cool video showing the Sits Pro, which was in Colorado when they were doing their out-of-town tryouts for Frozen, which is opening pretty soon on Broadway. It made me very excited for the cast album watching this video. It should be pretty cool. That's going to do it for the news this week, folks, but I do want to give a big shout out to Andrea Lehner. Thank you so much for supporting the show, Andrea Lehner. Your support has been very much appreciated. For all of you out there, if you want to support the show, go to iTunes, leave a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, and I'll give you a shout out on the show. It's always appreciated when you do that. It helps other Disney fans find the show. But of course, I want to get to the conversation this week. On this past Wednesday's episode, me and my co-host had a conversation about what makes a Disney attraction a classic. What is it about it that makes it a classic? And so I asked you guys on the YouTube comments what closed attraction should have been saved because you consider it a classic. Jason says the Main Street Electrical Parade. that should have been saved because it's a classic. Who knows? That might be coming back. There's been no word about what's going on with that. Rio Nakazawa says the Mickey Mouse Review, which after the Magic Kingdom actually moved to Tokyo Disney Resort. But yeah, Mickey Mouse Review, I've never seen it personally. I've seen little video pieces of it, but I would love to see that. I believe it was in the space that currently houses Mickey's PhilharMagic, if I'm not mistaken. Anissa Vargas's answer was The Great Movie Ride. I would agree wholeheartedly. I love The Great Movie Ride. I would have been fine with an update. I will miss it forever. Skylar Von Skelton says that extraterrestrial alien encounter, very popular attraction. And Ozzy Goof says the People Mover or Rocket Rods. Yeah, I'd be cool with either of those. I want something done with that track in Tomorrowland. It needs a lot of repair at this point, but I would still love to see either of those come back. Thanks for joining the conversation, guys. If you want to join the conversation on the Wednesday episodes of Disney Coast to Coast, head to YouTube, check out what the conversation question is, and leave your comment right there on YouTube. I also had the Twitter poll of the week. Which of the following do you consider to be the most classic Disney attraction? Your options were Haunted Mansion, Pirates of the Caribbean, Carousel of Progress, or Big Thunder Mountain. In last place, we got Big Thunder Mountain at 6% of the votes. Right above that, Carousel of Progress at 21% of the votes. Haunted Mansion got 28% of the votes, and most of you say Pirates of the Caribbean is the most classic Disney attraction out of those 4 choices at 45% of the votes. It's a pretty tight race, though. I mean, all 4 of those really are classics. In my opinion, I'd go with Carousel of Progress, but I don't get a vote. It's all up to you guys. Guys, I do want to remind you, if you want to get some cool rewards, head to DisneyCoastToCoast.com and check out our Patreon link from there. You can check out all the different rewards that are coming. I am getting ready to schedule some live streams and everything, so if you want to get in on that, check it out at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. Also, want to remind you, every month we have a different music playlist inspired by a different Disney theme. You can sign up for that at DisneyCoastToCoast.com. You can find our social media links there. Rate and review us on iTunes, daily Disney decision news, all of it's at DisneyCoastToCoast.com, so make sure you go and check that out. But for now, have a magical day, everybody. Bye!
Thanks for watching Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.